Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in. And I got the Mighty One. His name is Tim. The
Yeah.
band's called the Mighty One.
It is. It is.
Thanks for joining us. How's it going, man?
It's going really, really good, George. It's Monday, and I'm totally full of caffeine right now. I've drank almost this whole thing. I saved a little bit just for you, but yeah, I'm super vibed. I'm super jazzing. It's been a great morning already so far.
I forget the time difference. You're on the other side of the country, on the West Coast.
That's correct. Yeah, I'm
I'm on the East
three
Coast.
hours behind you.
Oh wow. What do you take in your coffee?
Actually, I have whipped cream, and I'm not kidding you. Every day, whipped cream and a little bit of like vanilla syrup, sugar free syrup, because I'm a keto
Cool.
guy. That's why I do that.
Me too. Me too.
Mm,
Yeah.
nice. How long you
Yeah.
been doing that?
Well, I'm not a keto guy, but I've been doing it for quite some time. Probably about 3 months, 4 months now.
Good for
Uh,
you.
I kind of just got off the horse a bit, but it's weird because now I'm kind of thinking that I should probably go back on it because like when you do a diet like that or change your lifestyle, as I
Mhm.
would call it, it can be very surprising in the uh, things you discover you could actually still eat, and I really enjoyed it. So what I was doing is a bit of like um, a mashup of fasting and keto.
Mhm.
Then I learned that like it's not so much the keto diet; it was the fasting that was helping me lose weight. Um, so I like to kick a few beers back, and
Sure.
I have a few drinks, and I like to eat burgers. I had a burger, on my way up to the studio today, and
Yep.
um, but I find the mindset and your brain thinks a lot clearer when you're doing
Yes.
keto. It's so
Yes.
weird. It's so
Yes.
weird. I don't understand it, but I feel a lot smarter and more alert when I fast. I just drink coffee. I mean, you can't drink beer, but you can have coffee. That's such a great deal.
It is. It is. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I've been doing keto now, coming up to the 1st of January. I'll have been doing it 3 years in a row, like every day, like nothing but keto, 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 keto. And the fasting that you talk about, um, I do intermittent fasting, so I don't have breakfast anymore.
mhm,
I just have coffee.
yeah,
And then about 12 or 1 o'clock is when I have my first meal, and then I have one at dinner, and that's it. So I'm down to 2 meals a day,
yeah.
and that's made a huge difference. I've actually, in the last 3 years, lost over 70 pounds.
Wow. I lost 30 pounds in about a month.
Crazy.
So it's just 20 pounds just in the first 2 weeks. Like I'm
Yeah,
just like, holy moly.
yeah.
You don't realize um how much drive you actually have. You get used to it though, right?
Yeah.
Today I didn't fast today, but uh no last week I did, but tomorrow I will.
Mhm.
Just because sometimes you just gotta eat, right? I don't know what it is. I just gotta eat. But I feel like the sugar is like it's like the worst drug in the world. Well, I shouldn't say it's the worst drug in the world, but like because there's stuff that really messes you up. But sugar definitely makes you think that you're hungry when you're not, right?
So true, so
Yeah.
true. Yeah, so true.
Yeah. So that's something that I discovered, right? It's like, oh, should I go and have this? Should I go and eat this? Am I really hungry? When you keep on eating, yeah, I had some Tim Hortons donuts the other day, but you know, I didn't want to have a second one. When I did have the second one, then I was thinking to myself, like, do I really want this? You know? But what people really want is to hear your story. The mighty one. You are the mighty one, right?
I am the mighty one. Absolutely, absolutely. And I got a great band that helps me out, especially my business partner and drummer in the band, Bob Wagner. Yeah.
Very good. Tell us about the band. How'd you come about naming the group? And let's just break into it right now with the beard. Like you got a massive beard, dude. Um, how long you been growing that for?
This thing's been around for a couple of decades now, for sure. It's getting a little bit more of this sort of white stuff happening in it here, I noticed, but that's good. They know that's just wisdom. That's just wisdom,
Yeah.
and the wisdom's getting longer. But yeah, no, I've had that for 20 years or so.
Oh
Yeah,
wow!
yeah.
I spoke with Leland Sklar
Hmm.
a couple months ago, and he's never shaved his beard.
I
Um,
never, I've
since
trimmed a little bit. That's it, but that's it.
Yeah, it's like I can never look at myself cleanly shaven ever again. I look like Luigi from like Super Mario or something like that. It's so weird. It really is to look at yourself in a different light. If you want to see yourself in a different light, just shave your face. To be honest,
Oh,
it's so
dude.
weird.
Oh, dude, I could never do it again. And you know what? I'd be divorced for sure right
Yeah.
away. Boom, just like that.
Boom, within a millisecond. So the mighty one, the story behind the name.
The story behind the name. Okay. So I think that really goes back to like 2007 when just before I put out the first record, sitting here in this studio and working on the record and made this decision that I tried so hard to keep bands together. And you always have this idealistic, like because Kiss obviously is one of sort of my idealistic bands and so you have these four guys, they're brothers, everybody puts their piece in and that's what creates the music and the whole thing and the whole vibe. But the fact of the matter is I've always had a very strong vision and idea of what I see and hear in my music. And so even though I always welcomed everybody's ideas, I rarely took them. And so then people just sort of felt like, well, Tim's just kind of using me, it's not really a band. And I finally, I'm sitting here by myself after, three or four different versions of what I was trying to create. And I'm going, you know what? It's just me. I'm the mighty one. Not that's who I am. I am Tim, That's actually my our stage manager. He wanted me to call the band I Am Tim. And I said, yeah, that's cool, but I see the mighty one, right? Because I've got this a little bit of a spiritual connection. I can't say that I'm a religious person, but I've got a spiritual connection. I believe in a higher power. So it all just kind of made sense to me. So I sat here and I started working on the record. And next thing you know, I don't believe in coincidences, but by coincidence or synchronicity, a guy comes in and he says, hey, I'd like to rent your basement suite in your house. And I see you got a recording studio. I'm a drummer. Can I move in? I'm like, yeah, Ryan, you can move in. And this is Ryan Van Poederoyen of the Devin Townsend Band, right? And next thing you know, I got the Devin Townsend Band is down here recording their first record. And I said, hey guys, like, especially Devin, I said, Devin, would you produce a song for me? And hey guys, would you maybe play on some stuff for me? And next thing you know, the Devin Townsend Band is helping me record my first album. Devin produces the first single and then actually mixes the whole record, right? So it was this beautiful synchronicity, and that's really when the Mighty One became an official thing.
It's very hard to like see your vision through if it's not going the way you want it, right?
It is. It is. Somebody who really helped me to see the right path is Dave Grohl.
Really.
Because he was with the Foo Fighters, it was a similar situation when he was starting up where, again, he had this idealistic view. And then finally, he kept going, he'd record the record and then he'd go back into the studio when everybody was home and in bed and he re-record all the parts because it wasn't exactly the way that he wanted it to be. Right. And he finally came to the realization, oh man, it's me. So I got a similar situation where it's myself and the drummer, and that's who propels this project now.
Because if it doesn't go like if you don't hear it the way you want to hear it, or the way you're hearing it in your head,
Yeah.
it can really irk you, especially when you're on stage playing it, right?
Well, that on stage is one thing. There I'm pretty open, but the recordings they're permanent. You know what I mean? Like when you put out a record, it's permanent. Yes, you can re-record the song or whatever, but if there's something in there that's bothering you, it will bother you every single time that you listen to that song. And I just don't want that.
Yeah, of course. you got a song called Christmas in the North.
Yeah, yeah.
We spoke prior to this. You do the good Father Christmas role and everything. So, um, does this have something to do with that song?
Um, I think so. I think it's an extension of that. I mean, I've been doing this Father Christmas role for about 5 years. I mean, last year obviously took a break because we couldn't get together with people, but yeah. So at this heritage village, it's like a 1900s village in Burnaby. And they've got like all of the blacksmith and everything like it would be back in the 1900s, and they have Father Christmas, and I've been sort of embodying that role and the spirit of that, right? Which is different than Santa. You know, Santa is a very commercial construct that was built by Coca-Cola back in the 50s, and that's when Christmas really became commercialized. It was all about selling, and everybody needed to give and buy, where, in a simpler time, it was about Father Christmas, and it was really about just simply helping the underprivileged. And so I get to embody that role, and that's really, really cool. But where this ties back into Christmas with the North, Christmas in the North, I don't know. I grew up in a German family, and let's face it, Christmas was born in Germany. I mean, if you see Christmas villages in Germany, if you ever go there, they do Christmas like they really, really do. So Christmas was always very special to me. And a couple of years ago, I met this band from Norway, just online during the pandemic. Um, and we started hanging out and drinking beers on Friday night, and one of these things, it was like 2 or 3 in the morning, and Gear, the manager of this band, Viking Queen, they're like a power metal band. He says to me, Tim, we need to record a Christmas song. And I'm like, okay, cool. What will it be called? And he said, it'll be called Christmas in the North. I'm like, okay, cool. And so I started working on it right away. And by the time, Christmas had come around, the song was ready. We'd recorded video back and forth. They'd sent audio tracks, and yeah, it's Christmas in the North.
Awesome! It's amazing how things come together through drinks over Zoom, and a lot of things happen that way.
Oh, it's been amazing. I honestly say, George, that the pandemic has been honestly the greatest gift to me as a creative person, and as someone who lives and breathes rock and roll. It's been the greatest gift.
I fully agree with you. Like I started my this podcast probably a couple months after this pandemic was started rolling. It's been great ever since. I've met a lot of musicians and interviewed some people that I really wanted to talk to, and um,
Nice.
it is a blessing in disguise. Even though we want it to end as soon as possible,
Yes.
um, which there's no end in sight right now after having this past weekend. But
Omicron.
yeah,
It sounds like Decepticon a little bit,
yeah,
doesn't it?
it's so weird. Like it's just so weird. I find it real weird that yeah. Now you're getting me laughing about like the Decepticon thing. It was way to throw me off, man. Way to throw me
The
off.
the COVID transformer, Omicron.
Omicron, the Allspark. This guy's looking for a fucking Allspark the whole time. Why is he fighting with everybody?
Oh my god, that makes me laugh.
Yeah, it's a very tough conversation to have, right? But
Yeah.
I think you and I probably have the same perspective. It's the media is really fear mongering people over something that still hasn't happened yet, right?
Yes.
Um, what
Yes.
really got me is that I went on Twitter and I was looking at like uh, quotes and videos of people in South Africa talking about this Omicron, the Omicron, um, and they're saying it's a very mild version of it. So
Yeah.
it's like the media hypes it up, and I blame the media for a lot of the garbage that we hear every day that scares people. So now people and people in the society are going to be waking up. If they haven't woken up already, this is the time. We're I'm not a big Trump supporter, but the fake news thing, that is exactly what I'm talking about. You got to think twice about everything you hear, just like you think twice about things you hear from people you don't know, right?
100%.
Trust
It's
us.
no George, it's no different than Santa Claus and Father Christmas.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like Santa Claus is this blown up thing, and it's about buy, and you need to give, you need to, and the same thing with media. It's sensationalized in such a huge way, and so the deeper the emotional um cloud that they can build, you know what I mean, the more value it seems to have to the media, and people just watching what's going on emotionally is just like, whoa, people, step back,
Yeah.
you know, step back.
I think that the biggest and best favor you can do for yourself is go on social media and unfollow all those stations. To be honest, like let's just move on. Let's move on. Move on from all the depression. Go click on the Babylon Bee or the Onion and like their pages because you know
Yeah,
you don't have to have that stuff like CTV News for me constantly.
yeah,
It's bad. This is bad. This guy. It's like just leave us alone. Like just leave us alone. Let us relax for like 5 minutes. Like then you have people going to these climate change conferences and whatever. It's like I thought we were in a pandemic. Now we have climate change problems. It's like how are we going to stop that? It's like just again leave us alone for 5 minutes so we can just relax, have a coffee, meet me for coffee, let's talk about some video games or some music or strapping young lad or something like that. I've seen them many times. I fucking love that band. I can't even talk
yes.
about that anymore because it's all about pandemic. I used to see Devin Townsend articles, but now it's about a pandemic. Like it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, and I think people who want to see it should go search for that stuff, right? It shouldn't just be constant. It's like, um, someone mentioned earlier today. It's like the media is half the battle here. Like the ones causing the problem, like we talked about. Um, my friends in Monster Truck released a song with Kid Rock, and all of a sudden they're the worst people in the world, right?
Yes, I saw
There's
that.
there's guys like Danko Jones calling them out. It's like, well, maybe that guy should be ashamed for calling them out because he does more or less the same as what happened in Kid Rock's videos. So like I think that was a big pinnacle in their career. Like to see Kid Rock because I like Kid Rock. Who
Yeah,
cares? Like whatever. Like I like Kid Rock.
yeah, yeah.
Your music speaks for you, right?
Yes,
Um, music's about feel, about emotion. It's not about politics. It's not to voice your opinion and say, hey man, that guy's an asshole for saying that about this or that, and that's the wrong lyric to say. Who are you to tell them what to write, what to say in their own music? When you're just as bad, or even, uh, telling people they don't have the creative freedom that they think they do, right? It's
yes,
it's
yes,
ridiculous, right?
yeah.
And that's what I like about your music. Like you actually, you can feel the emotion. People will get hooked on it when they hear more of it. Um, and you know what? I had a nice little rip through the streams today on Spotify. You may have noticed that some of these songs went up by 2 or 3 plays. But
Thanks, George.
yeah,
Appreciate
man,
that.
yeah, I really did enjoy it, and that's what is missing with music, the emotional connection, because people don't let you have that connection anymore. Everybody has that that advice to tell you, or they want to tell you something bad, or divide. We're all divided. let's
Yeah,
let's let's harmonize and come together through music, and this is the perfect opportunity to go to Spotify or go buy a record from Tim, the mighty one. It's let's start here and let's keep on going. Let's just start supporting independent artists a bit more because they really need it. There are major artists that are at home, they're okay, but they're hurting as well.
yeah,
um it's a backwards world out there. We got to harmonize and find our escape through music like it used to be, right? Like there's kids who have no clue what rock music is. There's kids who have no clue what real good music is. You write your songs, bigger people than you don't write their songs. There's like, it's so
hmm
backwards, right? It's not
hmm
about all flashy, glammy, and whatever. You don't have to, hang out in a Bugatti with your shirt off. I mean, I'm sure I would like to, but um, in some aspect, I really don't think that's on the top of my priority list, right? But
Well, I just I want to interject there for a moment.
Yeah.
So, and this is something that I've been observing for the last couple of years, for sure, since the pandemic started. So the polarization that you talked about, you're either on this side or you're on this side, and it's like we feel this pressure to do that. I believe the side to be on is this one right here.
Mm-hmm.
The one that's in the center, that, yeah, I can listen to that over there, and yeah, I can listen to that over there. That's fine. I'll listen to your opinions, but I'm going to stay centered in who I am.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then everything that I do music wise and everything that I put out on social media is from that centered place that's not amplified with this emotion. You know what I mean? It's with just a spirit of who I am. I don't know if you know, but I teach at a recording school here in Vancouver. It's called Nimbus.
Oh, cool.
It's owned by Garth Richardson. You remember Garth Richardson?
Mm-hmm.
Producer for Rage Against the Machine, and his dad actually had a legacy out in Eastern Canada as a
With
producer, also
the Guess Who, right?
with the Guess Who. That's right, correct. And so, when I'm teaching these kids, these upcoming producers and engineers and artists, I say, listen, your music, it's great. Entertainment is great. People still always need entertainment. However, anybody and their dog now can put out a record, with the way you can record at home and stuff like that. But what I think the real value comes in, how will this music make somebody's life better? Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So when you take that approach to it, now suddenly there's depth to the music again. It's not just stuff. It's got some heart, and it's got a real transmission of who you are, with that intention of making the world a better place, improving somebody's life. And so I don't know if you know, but I'm also like a life coach. Okay. And so I work with people. I help them remove their negative emotional blocks that are keeping them from living their purpose. Right.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And so my music, or the Mighty Ones music, is an extension of that. On the record of, obviously, Torch of Rock and Roll was this torch that was lit inside of me when I was 13 years old, when I heard Kiss Destroyer, and I went out to the silo, to the granary, and I ran like 300 feet of extension cord out there, put in my trainer amp and plugged in my guitar and cranked it to 10 and hit it for the first time and went, whoa, this is what I'm supposed to do in my life, and just had that awakening. And ever since then, it's been nonstop for me. I've never stopped since then. And so it's important, I think, as an artist, to have your music be a representation of where you are as an individual. Again, with that intention of, how can this music make somebody else's life better?
I fully agree with that. That's kind of what I was trying to go for, right? Obviously the rant kind of gets people going. I think that was one of the best answers I've ever had on the show over something that I said. And you know what? I fully agree with you. It's like the emotional connection in having people get immersed in your music, the escape, right? Like, hey, all this stuff's happening. I listen to your music. I feel relaxed. I feel good. For at least 5 minutes at a time, right?
Yeah.
At least someone let us relax, right?
Yeah, totally. And I think like the Torch of Rock and Roll album speaks to those albums back in the day when I was growing up, where they took you on a journey. They took you took off, right? And then you went on this journey. It had a couple of dips, and then it dropped you off gently at the end, and you went, wow, I just went on a little trip there on that record, as opposed to, maybe one or two songs were great or whatever. But no, the whole album, if you listen to the Torch of Rock and Roll all the way through from beginning to end, you'll see there's a line and there's a story that goes all the way through, and it is an extension of my heart. It is. It truly is.
It's sweet, man. It's very sweet introduction to someone who's looking to check you out. Man, this has been great. I've really enjoyed this. It also helped me get something out that I really wanted to say. And you know what? It's very good because I feel what I just said. I have no regrets of what I said. I do believe that artists need to say what they need to say
Yes.
in their music, and you do not have. You can be have a criticism of a song, but you do not have the right to tell people how to write their own songs and what to say in their own music, because that's not you, right?
Creativity is a personal extension of your soul, man. It truly is. So if you feel passionate about something and you want to speak or write or sing about it, it's got to be done. And nobody should judge that.
Thanks a lot, Tim. This has been great. This is Tim from the Mighty One. Check him out on Spotify. You have a website as well, right?
torchofrockandroll.com.
Sounds so awesome. You got to give away some type of specialized merch with a torch or something like that, or a blow.
We do. We have all of that. We have all of that. Go to the site. You'll check it out. You'll see it.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Just like, see, this is the logo right here. That's the torch right there, baby.
I thought that was a Canada hat. That's what happens when we don't sit down in person, right? Maybe I should put my glasses on.
It's a torch. It's a torch, baby.
Wow, this is cool.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me on your show, George. I really appreciate you. And I know we're getting close to Christmas, so I'm going to be the first one to wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, and happy holidays to everyone out in Burnaby, BC and across the world as we start wishing people Christmas officially as of now.
Yeah, baby. And also I just want to mention too, I want to give a little plug to Rise Up TV. Now, I was supposed to be on this Rise Up TV tour, which is starting tomorrow, I believe, actually, out east in Ontario and Quebec. And so I just want to do a shout out to that. If you see any shows for the Rise Up TV tour, go check that out. I was on the last one that went to Alberta. I was supposed to be on this one, but I was invited to Father Christmas, so that's what I did. And we've actually got a redo of the one we're doing to Vancouver Island. We're doing that in February now, and it's going to be more of a fundraiser for BC flood relief. So, but Rise Up TV tour, you got to check that out.
That's right. And Meet Me for Coffee is a media sponsor on the Rise Up tour, and hopefully I can make it out on one of these dates. I was hoping to meet Tim in person. Actually, I got kind of confused because he was in the poster, then he wasn't, and then I was like. So if he's going to be at this show, why don't I just do this interview in person? And then I realized he wasn't on the tour anymore. So, I will be out there, and hopefully I'll do some interviews with some more artists out there. Ashley Pater and the others. They're riding around in the 64 audio tour bus.
Yeah, the big bus. It's so awesome.
Super luxe there. So
yeah.
Check us out at meetmeforcoffee.co. You can subscribe to any podcast carrier through that website. Of course, subscribe to us on YouTube as we're trying to build that channel officially. And thank you so much. Take care. Have a great night.
Thanks, George.